Welcome to Ben and Gary's.
Here's the scoop. This is TJ Belcher with Gateway Mortgage. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks for having me. I grew up in Joplin and I've lived here all my life. I've got two 16-year-old kids, boy and a girl. They're sophomores at Carl Junction, and I've been with Gateway Mortgage for 3 years now.
Now, are your kids twins?
They are.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't even look related, but they are.
Isn't that the crazy thing about twins?
Yeah. So I started out in 2008, actually working for an insurance agent here in town, big red insurance agency. I worked there for about 2 years, and they had a bank at the time, and so that's kind of how I got started in with mortgages. It was at that time it was primarily refinances that we were doing, so it was just a good opportunity to something else that we could help our customers with, saving them some money, getting them a better deal with their mortgage. After that, I ended up getting hired for my own agency over in Southeast Kansas, and I was over there from 2011 till 2021, and continued with the mortgages and got very comfortable with it, familiar with it, and good at it. And in 2018, that bank, they shut the bank down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of a big surprise. They did partner with another company that was one of the big online companies. So from about 19 through 21, I did have that partnership with them. It was a whole different ball game. It wasn't near as enjoyable, and just kind of a tough go. But during that time, I ended up needing to, because the bank that we had was getting shut down. We were encouraged to, reach out to our customers and anybody that had their mortgage with that bank, because they weren't going to be able to get it serviced anymore after it went away. So I started actually to refinance my mortgage with the online company that we had our partnership with, and that was going nowhere fast. And somebody referred me to Gateway Mortgage, Steve Clutie over at Gateway, and where I had come from, I was used to, whether it was purchase or refi, a 45 to 60 day turn time, and that's pretty well industry standard, honestly. But Steve got my refinance done in 16 days, so that really caught my attention.
Yes.
And from there, and some other things had just changed, and I just reached out to Steve one day after all that was kind of said and done, and inquired about if they were looking for help, and that's how I wound up there. And but like I said, the biggest thing that got my attention was just how simple and quick the process was.
Right. So the corporation that you guys had partnered with, that was kind of an online bank situation. Yeah. So we ran into this conversation last week with Charity. Our experience with multinational kind of companies is a little bit harder to have a quicker turnaround, because it's not as a personal of interaction. Right. So do you think it's better dealing with a local lender that you are having a conversation one-on-one with, or do you think that a lot of times you find that in that bigger business that you kind of get lost in the shuffle of
well, and from my perspective, it's I'm building relationships with you guys, right. And so my reputation with you guys is crucial, and your buyers. So those online guys, it's just quantity over quality, and the more they can get through the pipeline, if they lose one, we got another one coming right up. So I think that's the biggest difference with, there's a relationship here local. Yes. And where you don't have that with the .com and all, 800 number companies.
Right. It's funny because that's basically the exact conversation we had last year, that people over-process will get the job done better, even if you have the most perfect process. So it's kind of crazy that that's the way you put that, because that's exactly what we were... Did you watch the podcast from last week? Yeah. You was practicing that. Well, tell us about what your process is like for pre-qualification of a buyer.
Okay. So our main thing is to try to keep things as simple as possible. The mortgage process, it's in depth, and we're having to ask your buyers for a lot of things, a lot of documentation, and the timeline. And so the thing that we really focus on and that we're really good at is we keep the process as simple as we can. Communication along the way. This is certainly an industry where no news is not good news. You got a buyer that's waiting, jumping through the hoops, and they don't hear anything for a week. They start getting nervous. So that's a very big deal to us as well, is to keep that constant communication. You know, one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people that have gone through the loan process before is they get passed around the whole time. They're talking to 10 different people. They don't know who they're talking to. That's something that I really like to brag about with us in our offices, is that does not happen with us. They're dealing either with myself or with our processor, Alicia, who's in the office. She sits right across the office from me. I mean, she's really the glue to the whole process. I mean, I don't know what we do without her, but so that, you know, we're the only two that they're hearing from during that whole time. And, you know, we're also doing a lot of the legwork up front, you know, the pay stubs and the W-2s and the bank statements, if they're self-employed, you know, the tax returns, all that stuff, that has to be collected at some point anyway. So we're doing that on the front end and getting that out of the way. We're still able to do same day pre-quals for the most part, unless it, you know, sometimes with self-employed borrowers, it can take a little bit longer to get those tax returns and things like that. But that way, you know, I know that there's a lot of times of pre-qualification letters handed out based off of credit score and stated income. And we're verifying all that on the front end so that, you know, we're really handing you more of a pre-approval than a pre-qualification.
Less surprises coming in the future.
Correct.
Yeah, that's great. On the once under contract, what does the process look like for you guys once the buyer finds the house that they want to be in and actually makes a contract and gets an accepted offer?
Okay. So again, you know, we average a 21-day turn time, and there's a couple reasons we're able to do that. A is because we've done all the documentation collection up front, so we know we've already got that part out of the way. The other thing is everything with Gateway is under one roof. So from originating to processing, underwriting, closing, even servicing, we retain our servicing rights. It's all done by Gateway employees. So everybody along every step of the process, they've got some skin in the game because they're actually Gateway employees. So, you know, we usually have, once we get that signed contract, we've got it in underwriting typically same day. We usually have it out of underwriting within 1 to 2 business days. And then it's just a matter of waiting. Typically at that point, it's waiting on homeowners insurance, the appraisal, and getting the title work completed. And that's how we're able to move through the process so quickly.
That's amazing.
It is.
That is like, I've closed an FHA loan in 15 days, but it's highly irregular.
Yeah,
but like you have to have a very good team that has a process in place and is going to go through and take care of everything and not wait until, oh wait, we forgot about this, you know. And so it's amazing that your average turnaround is that 21-day window.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, that's what really grabbed my attention with Gateway from the get-go. And honestly, I kind of thought in the beginning, like, yeah, right. You know, it is. It's a well-oiled machine, and we've got a very smooth and just specific process, and it works well.
Cool. Ben, what questions do you have?
Any specialty loan programs Gateway offers that you might want to?
Yeah. So, and we offer the typical conventional FHA, VA, RD. We have 2 different styles of renovation loans, which is big right now with inventory being a little bit lower. People, you know, they go and look at a house and they say, well, I like it, but the bathrooms are outdated, or the kitchen needs updated, or it needs a new roof. And we've got access to the 203K FHA renovation loan, and we also have a conventional home style renovation loan that we have access to. And again, the nice thing about those, as long as we get those contractors' bids up front by contract time, we're still closing those in 30 days or less. And that's the, you know, there's a lot of lenders that don't even offer it, but a lot of them that do, they don't really do them. And we've got the advantage of we have a department in Jinx, Oklahoma, at our headquarters that its sole purpose is renovation loans. So again, we're able to move through that process, and we're closing those in less than 30 days or right at 30 days as well, as long as we get those contractor bids. And so that helps with just, you know, like I said, right now inventory being a little bit lower than normal. It gives people some more options.
Absolutely. Now, is that the contractor loan or the remodel loan, is that just for residential use, or is it commercial as well?
Okay. Yeah, and so we, being secondary mortgage lenders, we can only do residential lending. So yeah, that's a great question. That is only for now we can do investment properties, but it doesn't have to just be primary residence, but it does have to be residential.
So what does it look like if you're going to do a investment property for your company?
So that is a conventional option only. It's still a minimum 15% down, but other than that, everything's pretty standard, and just, you know, that you got the down payment, and it's 15% of the purchase price and whatever proposed renovations. The other nice thing about that too is that, and that's the purpose of having these bids up front, is the appraisal is a subject to appraisal. So the appraiser is basing that on current condition plus, you know, taking those bids and saying, okay, here's the value after the proposed work is completed.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think that's basically the only question I had at this point. You got any?
You asked a question this time. I'm really proud of you.
I know. I'm proud of myself.
I told him when we started talking about this, I was like, so you're going to talk to TJ mostly. I didn't do very good at letting him do that. Is there anything that you think that we've missed that you think is valuable to share with our viewers and buyers?
Yeah, you know, I guess just reiterating that this process it can be overwhelming, and we're very good at keeping it as simple as possible and walking, you know, your buyers through every step of the way. We, you know, when we get to the closing table, people are confident and they understand what's going on, and there's no surprises, and
right.
And that's something that we really like to hang our hat on.
That's good. There's been many times that I've got to the closing table and people were still kind of fumbling their way through.
Right.
So
yeah.
Knowing that that's where you guys are at closing is a great addition too.
Well, you want to try the new segment, Gary?
Oh, you're going to tell us a joke again, aren't you?
I thought we would do a who can do the best dad joke.
No.
Why not?
Because I'll lose. You've got such great dad jokes. Just tell us a great dad joke, Benji.
Okay. Have you heard of the new sport coming out?
Uh-uh.
It's called quiet tennis. It's like tennis, but without the racket.
So I'll tell you my father-in-law's favorite joke.
Okay.
What did the farmer say when he couldn't find his tractor?
What?
Hey, where's my tractor?
Makes sense.
Well, TJ, we really thank you for coming in and visiting with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to meet you for the first time.
Likewise. Thank you.
Benji speaks highly of you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
This has been Ben and Gary's.
Here's the scoop.